Hello, hello! Welcome to the show. Psychoda back here with another adventure in Minecraft, and today I am digging a hole. Isn't it marvelous? No, we are creating a viable stair situation going on here on the main island. I haven't done much else except for be working on this a little bit off camera. Bit of progress on it being happen. Looks like my measurements are off here. I think I'm one higher than I should be. But anyway, as you can see, we've got it going in every direction, and because of the way it is set up on the main island, each segment comes out at a different level. I wanted to apologize ahead of time in case you guys hear anything in the background. The house next door to me is getting some work done on it, it sounds like today. I don't know if I'm going to get any major interruptions from it or not, but hopefully nothing too drastic happens that makes a lot of noise. So essentially what I'm trying to do is finish this off, see where it comes out, and then I can play with the concepts and ideas of how everything is going to transition to the outside, kind of make things a little bit random, not sporadic, random on the outside of the side of the mountain or the island that we've got going on here, and I want to keep that concept going throughout. Aside from the main structure, kind of have everything be a bit random. The idea is that at some point in time, we'll get a picture of the entire structure from far away and have a lot of visual interest because everything will be a bit different. Anytime you build something, you want to add some interest and contrast in multiple different ways. There's a bazillion different ways to achieve this, but one of the things I personally prefer doing is creating some kind of visual interest via chaos, I guess is the best way to describe it. I am a fan of the chaos, what can I say? Starting off today, while finishing this off though, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. One of which was I just finished reviewing the last current selection of Minecraft Lego sets, and I have to say, either Mojang is requiring, I guess that'd be Microsoft, is requiring a crap ton of money for licensing for Minecraft products, or Lego has realized that they have a new cash cow in these sets and are extremely overpriced for what you get. This was something that didn't really have the same feels from on the first run. There's been a total of 8 sets in all, I believe. And the first bit of sets, the price break on them seemed to be a lot more realistic. So that would either tell me that they made so much money off of those and they sold so many of them that they decided to boost the costs for these next batch, or Microsoft just got a little bit more greedy. Well, I guess Microsoft's always been kind of greedy. Wasn't too happy to come to that conclusion, and I have made the decision that I will not be reviewing any more of those sets if they come out in the future with more of them. Although at this point in time, I can't see what they could add to it. So I would assume there isn't going to be any more. Along with that, they've kind of shot themselves in the foot, because there's no way I'm the only person that has noticed the ridiculous price tags attached to these things. There's also just some poor concepts within the sets, like the way that the building structures are done, or my personal biggest beef is the amount of specific kinds of creatures or mobs that come with them. So, like, you can get sheep, but you have to buy 2 sets to get 2 sheep. You can get cows, but you have to buy 2 sets to get 2 cows, etc. And the Nether set that was just released, you can get 1 zombie pigman with it, 1 blaze, and 1 ghast. And the ghasts, aside from that being its own thing, is way the wrong proportion. The fact that there's only 1 zombie pigman in this set, especially for the cost, is just beyond me. I mean, the whole it's just like the zombie situation. There should be more zombies available because that is the most common mob, and there should be more zombie pigmen available because that is the most common nether mob. So you should expect to have at least 2 of those in a set that costs as much as the nether set does. So enough griping about that, though. I wanted to move on to some other things. Some other things entail what's going on, Charlie Brown. Well, you will have noticed by now that the layout of this channel has changed just a little bit, and as far as releases go, we are now doing just 2 playlists at a time, and I want to try to keep that the MO for it. It just makes it easier for me to keep track of everything, and also along with that, I am a person that tends to play video games on a significant scale, 1 at a time. So instead of trying to make playlists for 3 games at a time, which usually means that I'm playing about 4 games at a time, we're now going to do 2 playlists at a time, which means if I do this correctly, I will only be playing 2 games at a time. There is going to be exceptions to that when certain things come out that I will not be recording. For a perfect example of that is Fallout 4 is coming very, very soon, and I can guarantee you that I will be playing it at some point, hopefully right around the Christmas holiday. So, you know, aside from getting a surplus of things done ahead of time to guarantee I have the time to do that, the only other option I really have is to introduce another game into my mix. Well, I have no intention of recording that game whatsoever. 2-parter. One is that Fallout 4 is a personal experience that I think is best served on your own. That means that anytime somebody has any interest in that game, it better be because they want to play it. Because watching somebody play an open world RPG like that, it just doesn't translate well. And I'm not saying that I won't watch some footage from other people playing it or something like that at some point, but I know that there's going to be so many people going to be streaming that and YouTubing that as soon as it gets released, because everybody wants to play that game, and a lot of people basically record anything that they're playing. It's going to show up. Well, I just, at this point in time, I refuse to do so. It is not going to be something that I think is going to translate well, and I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to end up finding that out. I almost feel like we should be there by now. You know, I should probably see what level we're on. We are on 64. Water level is at 54 on here, I think, or 58 or something like that. I know it's lower. Alright, so we'll keep on going down, see what happens. Because this one has the longest stretch to go through the mountain, there's a good chance that it will end up being basically underwater level at the end of this, but we'll see what happens here. So hopefully the changes to the channel don't bother you too much. Hopefully it is something that won't affect anything. On my end, I think it's going to make things easier, and I would assume that on your end you're going to be happier too. I'm using Etho's concept as an example here. I've never seen Etho play more than 3 games at one time, and every time he even gets to 3 games, I'm sorry, never seen him more than 4 games at one time. Every time he gets more than 4 games, he immediately says this was a mistake and tries to go back to just doing 3. And I think that there's a reason for that. It translates much better to the viewer if they are able to... That was probably should have stayed. That's all right. If they are able to only keep track of one or two playlists, because let's face it, most people don't watch every playlist that a person releases anyway, so you're not trying to get a 100% viewer thing. I mean, that's never going to happen. It's impossible. But what you would hope for is to get some kind of a retention around, say, like 25%. I think a good average would be 10%, although it seems that the going norm is much lower than that these days. I partially think this is due to some kind of algorithm issue with YouTube itself, but along with that, I also feel that the bigger picture here, the bigger issue here is YouTube is farted around and screwed things up so much with their YouTube stuff, especially when it came to gaming. Them not realizing or understanding the potential there, they've just lost the viewership at this point. Twitch also has the ability to give you a feeling of being immediately interactive and involved with the person that you are watching, which is something you do not get, period, with YouTube anymore, especially after they implemented the whole G+ saga, and that's just something that's lacking and missing. Okay, so I got that completed. It goes all the way down to the water thing. This one is about 3 or 4 blocks above. This one seems, if I remember correctly, was pretty much the same as the one on the other side. Let's go ahead and take a look real quick. It is further. This one is probably about double that, but we also have some land over here and stuff that we can work with. And then the one over here on the right of me is very, very high. I'd say maybe 15 blocks from the bottom. It's very short. This is going to give us some ability to kind of mess around with things. Also, this one comes out in essentially a pillar of sorts, so that can make even better use for some kind of adaptation as to what's going on with this. Alright, I'm going to toy around with this for a little bit and see what I can come up with as concepts for stairs and stuff, or maybe just lay down the stairs materials. And then once we get to a point where I need to make some decisions, I'll come back in with you guys and see what we can do with this here. Alright, I think we've got a basic idea going on the stairwells there. I'm going to be creating some mossy stone bricks here, so I wanted to get some of these guys real quick and get that going. Not looking for a whole bunch, we're just using it as an accent, and it doesn't need to be as heavy as it was per se in the King of the Ladder build. For those of you that have been with me for a while and remember how much of the mossy we needed for that, did a lot of farming these vines to get that taken care of. But let's see here, we got 46, that should be plenty. Let's go ahead and make that happen. If I remember correctly, it's just 1 for 1, right? Tis indeed. Alright, good enough. Also, you can see that I have on me some dark oak half slabs. If we take a look at that color real quick, just throw it down somewhere. You see the colors, how they go together with this. Has a nice dark tone, looks good with the burgundy nether brick. And then the light, it doesn't really matter what you use with that. The standard gray tones pretty much goes with any of the woods. It doesn't really matter which one you want to use. I have hollowed this out too because I was thinking about doing something over here. I might get back to that later. There's a good chance I'm going to use it for something else though. I'll keep that kind of on the DL for now. I also have a chest in place here with books in it because we have our enchanting table, and I did check to verify. In fact, actually, I think I can use these to show you. That should work. Oh, you can't enchant them directly. That's right. They never fixed that. So, essentially, there's enough books here. There's also some hidden in between those two in the corners there, and that gives it enough for 30 levels. We also finished going down all of them with the stairs, as you can see, like so. This allows you to run up and down them, versus if they're a standard stair, you cannot. The problem with that is, though, you need some lighting so that things don't go cattywampus, and that's where we came in with this concept. And I have, you know, a basic understanding of where that's going to come into play on all of them, so I can make it pretty much the same. And then we threw in a little bit of an accent color there with the light gray brick in the background, trying to bring that in to the build as well through here. Now we've gotten all of that taken care of all the way on all of the 4 sides. We've got these guys going in place. This was the one I wanted to just kind of mess around with today, kind of get an idea of what we're going to do. And there's 2 reasons for that. One is because if you look, this is the one that actually comes into the side of the other structure, so we have more ability to really know what we're going to be dealing with here. But along with that, this will give us an idea as to how we're going to proceed from here. So what I think I'm going to do is, because I have land on this side and I can kind of use that, I'm going to plan on going that direction with the staircase. The question is how do I proceed with it? Is it going to be 2 wide, 3 wide, etc.? I have this landing here that makes sense, and I want to keep that as such. I might have to go get more of these here. So now I got to figure out what I'm doing for the outsides of this thing. That means I can have like a doorway right here, I think is what I'm going to do, and then we can build up around that like so. That's going to be, yeah, we can do that way. Okay, and then we want to bring in all the other colors that are going to be here as well. So we've got these out in the locations that they're going to be. We're going to try to maintain as much of the dirt in locations as possible, but because this one's going to be changed no matter what, we're going to go ahead and take it out. Just for sake of ease, we'll do that. And we're also going to do this. Okay, so we're going to bring our door over this way. Because we're coming out 2, I suppose we can go 2 wide. We could even go 3 if I wanted to mess with that. Then I'm going to go ahead and bring this up to the same level as this as well. And with that way we know exactly what's going on here. Now the whole reason for doing what we did there at the top was to make sure that nothing can spawn up there. So we're going to go ahead and leave that as such. Now we have this in place, and this is where we can kind of get some texture going on, be it interior texture or exterior texture. We need to add some implements to kind of make that work for us. So this is the side we're going to do. Let's see, is there anything below that? There it is. Does it go all the way down? No, it disappears. Okay, I'm going to make that disappear then. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Much better. Get rid of that. And I have, just so happens that I have an ender pearl on me. Let's see if I can make it back up there somehow. Good enough. Okay, that'll bring us back to here all. And we can get back inside. Now we have the elements in here with this. We can add in windows if we'd like, or we can leave it just as it is. This one is the location we're going to leave for a way out. So we're going to do the top one and not the bottom. And I think we'll just leave it open completely. We'll deal with the landscape part of this later, but we now have a basic shape for this, and I want to continue bringing. Ooh, I'm gonna need a whole bunch more. I want to continue bringing that all the way down until it runs into land. So let's do that real quick. All right, now that I got that done, we know where that's going to be, and we can essentially just make an extension here. But what we want to do is some wraps on this, kind of give it some texture. Easiest way to do that is just bolster up things using the corner tactics, where you always put something in the corners and it makes things pop out a little bit more. This is where I kind of wish we had some stone brick fencing to pop in here, because it would definitely bring in some more detailing and texture into the stuff. But we cannot do that, unfortunately. So go ahead and take a trip over to the island next to our main island here and take a look at this. There we go.
There we go.
We got some texture brought in there. I can bring in some more detail in the center of that if I wanted to really make that pop. I could even put in some fake windows, hide some lighting in there, kind of black out the behinds on that. But because of the way it's set up, it very much has like a fortress feel to it. I think having just the high window is the way to go on that. Now, a lot of people would say, let's go ahead and wrap all the way around the bottom, or bolster up the bottom even more and make it look really, really thick. The problem with that is this is such a thin, tall piece. If you add more to the bottom of that, you're going to lose the effect very, very quickly. This actually works really well because it makes it look like it's dissolving or protruding directly from the hill itself, making us get the impression that, you know, it was definitely built around its landscape. This is kind of what we're going to go for on the concepts all around, but they're not going to all be the same height. They're going to show up wherever they do, and that means everything's going to be set up differently. So let's go ahead and pop over. Well, actually, I want to finish this one off first. We'll go do some more wrapping on the upper part of this structure to kind of finish it off. That way we can get a full concept as to what we're looking at for a completion on this here. Okay, so I got a basic understanding what I'm going to do for the foundation sections. Add in a little bit of extra detail there with the light colors. This will make more sense as we get into the upper sections. Right now, you know, you're just dealing with what we got here, but I try to do, you know, a couple on the sides as well, so you get a decent understanding and idea as how it's going to look. I also pulled down on this side here a little bit more to help make it transition in a little better. Even have like a little spot right in there where you see some of it peeking through. Basic layout, I'm liking it so far. It's wrapping in really well. Everything's going good to go. As you can see, it's lit right there. Well, that's because I went ahead and put some torches up there while I was up there this last go round. I wanted to make sure I added some ambiance in there. We're creating some shadow effects, and we're giving it layers with that light there. In the daytime, it's pretty evident, but at nighttime you don't necessarily see it, and it could just blend in, making it look more like one piece. This way we definitely have that 3D vision going on. We also have this section over here. Get a better look at it here where I was talking about. Got that kind of in and out of there. We got a little bit of material left in there. There's multiple reasons why that's there. I can show you here in a second, but then we also bring down that all the way into the ground over here as well. But it's got a nice effect to it, bringing out that detail that we're looking for. So one other thing I want to cover as we're trying to make our way back up here. Can I do it over this way? I might be able to. You know what?
I'll make it happen.
Let's do it like that, and regular dirt. Got a very full inventory at this point. One other thing I wanted to show you is how we're going to be dealing with all these things coming in and out. So obviously we're going to have some kind of a winding trail that comes down this way, and we'll work on that, trying to make sure that it looks good as it comes down the mountainside. Try not to destroy the mountain too much in the process of doing it. But this side over here, it goes all the way down to water. You know what? Let me go sleep real quick. Now, my thought process on this is as such that I think we should stick with the idea that we're going to be wrapping this with this stone, right? So if we do this correctly, let's go ahead and take a look. The stone will be wrapped right there. Let's go ahead and just grab some of that and some of that. Hello, squid. Throw in a little bit of texture here and there with this stuff again. And then, oops, grab that, and then making sure not to overdo it, we'll just do it on the one side for now. Like so. Okay. And we already have a built-in edging for this. Hello, creeper. Holy cow, where'd you come from? I saw you trying to creep up on me. Ain't happening. Alright, let's get back up here. Can I get up there? Yeah. Now we want to just make a basic dock concept. And most time, docks have these blocks kind of every so often. We want to figure out how big we want to make it. We already have a 2 here, so we could go with the 2. Narrower docks look better than wider docks because in order for a wide dock to make sense, you have to make it much, much wider. Do I want to hold that versus anything else in here? I really don't need more cobble in my life. Here's the tricky part. When a lot of times when people do this, they want to even it up and put a block right here and then a block right here, or a block right here, and it would be at the same point on this side. Well, now this doesn't make sense. You can't make it symmetrical. It doesn't work. Don't do the inside. Don't do the inside of the L. Docks float. It's okay. You want to make it look like the structure's there. I even got a way for that to work for you. We can show you that here in just a second. Let's go ahead and get back to this here. This is where we're going to come out at. So we're going to, on the edge, yeah, I think we'll do one back from it. So it'll be right there and right there. Is that too close to each other? It sure is. It looks terrible. Let's extend this just a little bit more then. How's that? Looks good? Okay. Okay. And bada boom. Those are both all the way down to the base floor. Now, we don't have anything here supporting this side. We can't put anything in because it can't be symmetrical and it just looks funky, right? Okay, no problem. This is all for your sake. This is for it to look visually structural. Most people aren't even going to notice it. You can do one of two things. You can do these guys in any tone you like. Okay? Then you have a log kind of sitting there holding the structure up. Right? Can do that in multiple places, or only in those sections where they would tie in to the pillars there, like so. And then you can do that also right here. Oops. And of course, the one that I placed in the wrong spot is the last one that I would need. It didn't stack with it, did it? Of course it didn't. Jerk butt. That's the basic principle and idea behind that. Now, if you want to add another one in here along this extension right here, that's fine too. In fact, I may just go ahead and do that. We're going to have to figure out a way to make this viable to get up and down through here. I can put this right there, and then we will be able to. Okay. We can do the same thing. We can go in one right there is the structure, or we can even just change it up a bit. It doesn't have to be the same. So 1, 2, 3. Let's put it right here. Pop over, put a half slab on the top so it's capped off, and you're good to go. And it's that simple to make something happen with that. So we're going to do the same concept for this area right here as we did for the other side. And maybe I will start working on these concepts for all of the staircases. And then once we come back to it, I'll definitely have these interiors done on this. Once we come back to it, we can look into getting some landscaping done for the stairs down from the things that are at different heights, this, that, and the other. How many docks we're going to put in. Are we going to put one in for each staircase? We'll figure that out as we go along. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I have been having a lot of fun in here lately, so much so that I am increasing the playlist of this to 2 times a week because I have been playing on here quite often and not recording it. Along with that, we are going to be seeing some more of the hole underneath my base area. I have gotten enough iron to make that happen, so I'm going to be starting work on that next section there as well. I hope you guys are enjoying this process and this adventure here as I do my thing here in Minecraft. Hope to see you for another adventure. As usual, folks, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.